From its humble beginnings as a club race for the Pacific Northwest drivers, the Majors has grown into a global phenomenon, quite literally. Becoming so big that it required multiple regional championships around the world, it seems inevitable that eventually you'd want to try to get the best of those areas to face off. While it's difficult to do that for an entire season, establishing a one off race is more logistically feasible. And that's exactly what we have in store today as we get ready to watch the Majors All Star Race. And you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel and the iRacing Esports Network. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth tonight is Adam Lindgren and Nick Schmeg. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beer. With the real-world NASCAR All-Star Race taking place here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's fitting that it has become the traditional home of the Majors incarnation. To learn a little bit more about this place, let's head down to our track guide. Welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Until a few years ago, most race fans probably didn't know that this track had a road course layout. But this unique little roval has been around long before NASCAR revamped it, and that older version is what our drivers are racing on today. Situated in the northeast corner of Charlotte, North Carolina, there's two different road course layouts to choose from. One includes the oval, while the other is strictly limited to the infield. Like most rovals, the high-speed banking on the oval portion takes up a majority of the lap length. However, one unique feature that isn't often seen on other rovals is that this track includes a decent amount of elevation change. Passing tends to be difficult in the infield, so most drivers utilize the slipstream around the banking. If that doesn't work, there's also the heavy braking down into the first turn. Just beware because the outside wall on the exit is notorious for gobbling up cars. The infield itself is pretty narrow in this older version, so it's not uncommon for cars to put a wheel off into the dirt and be sent spinning. While it's not as flashy or as polished as the updated Roval, one thing is for sure, it provides some wild action and almost never disappoints the fans in the stands. See, it's had quite a bit of an update since the old version here, and Adam, some of the drivers have already expressed to us how tough it is to drive these cars at this place.
It is extremely tough. The Charlotte Road Course, officially known as the Roval now, is one of the most unusual road courses in racing, with its first half being very similar to a street circuit with close walls and treacherous opposite bank turns, and the second half taking place on the oval portion of the track with two chicanes breaking up the high speeds. The Roval's undulating surface may feel similar to last round at the Netherlands, but the cars with which they are tackling this course are quite different. Drivers will be hard-pressed to keep the grip in their tires as they power up their NASCAR Monster Energy Series cars out of the corners, and will have to fight the tendency for wheel hopping both into and out of the faster sections. This dynamic track usually produces a lot of action, Joe, and I'm expecting no less today.
Same here. It's should be not only a challenge, but a lot of fun to watch from our end. And speaking of watching this, well, since this is a little bit different from what we usually have in the majors, Nick, you mind running down our race details for today?
Yeah, absolutely. As you see here, the biggest thing you're going to have to focus on is the fact that this race is not a points-paying race. It's just for fun, just an exhibition race. It's an all-star race. So these drivers are definitely going to be laying it all on the line with their NASCAR Gen 6 Cup Series cars out there. And then the format is a little bit different. Yes, the real-world NASCAR Cup Series usually does an all-star race in a couple of stages. They've even done a 25 and 50 lap format before, but they've never done it on the Roval. And the first race rather, is going to be a 25 lap race at the Roval. That's what we're about to have here. And then we're going to switch over to the 50 lap race at the Oval here at Charlotte. So it's a pretty cool format they've got. They've got fixed setups. The top 12 from each region are here. So we've got 36 drivers that are at least going to be at the Oval. We know a couple people might be sitting out the road course portion, and they are going to have a spare car for the event today. So that's definitely going to help them, especially on the Roval portion.
Yeah, I think there's a few that are going to have to take advantage of that, but there's no cautions on the road side of things, so you will be very set back if you do have a wreck around here. Now, just like they do always do here in the majors, they have a charity for this race, and I have to say I really do love this one. This is for Feed the Children. Feed the Children exists to fight childhood hunger. It's the cause upon which they were founded over 40 years ago, and the one they continue to fight for each day. To find out how you can get involved, You can find more information at feedthechildren.org. And for this is essentially drivers are allowed to qualify, but if they want to second qualifying because they think they can do better, they have to pay for that. And all the money for the qualifying, every single dime, goes to the charity of each race. So that's what they've got for today's All Star out there. Now, again, if you would like to contribute yourself and help add to that donation, you can find out how to do so at feedthechildren.org. Right now, with practice going on, just about 5 minutes left to go. Waring has been one that's looking fast, but a driver we haven't seen over here on GSRC in the majors in a while, Adam, is Dallas Pataska there in the number 23. Showed up and made a splash, but switched over to the European region since then.
Yeah, Pataska deciding to switch over to the European reason for scheduling reasons, just time. It's a lot easier for him to race early on those Sundays for Dallas, but Dallas is a very strong driver. We're seeing it now in practice, only about 100th off of Andrew Waring's time. So Dallas really showing his aggressive tendencies today with just how quickly he's tackling this course. Look how much wheel hop he has going into that final chicane, but he still manages to nail the apexes and not get into the wall. That shows just how much you have to wrangle this car around.
Absolutely. They picked a tricky one for the drivers to try and do for the roadside here, but I guess if you're going to, you might as well make sure that it's tough on both ends as we take a look at Cam Dance right now, a number one car out there racing in the international region. And we've seen him on the dirt side, Nick, pretty quick, not just here on the pavement, which we unfortunately don't have here in the All-Star race. This is all going to be strictly pavement, but representing that international side, it's a bit far down now, but from the speed I've seen he's shown in other races, I would not bet against him.
Yeah, that dirt experience, I think, is definitely going to come in handy. You see him slide the car there. Might be getting a little too comfortable here on the asphalt. But with the new tire model here in the Cup car, especially, that is going to be felt. The consequences of that are going to be felt here on the Roval, especially in the beginning stages of the race. So I think he's definitely going to be faster in the beginning of this race. Not quite sure where he qualified. I'd have to check on that, but it's going to be interesting. If he starts closer to the front, he's going to be in good shape, I think, at least in the first half of this race.
Absolutely. Certainly seeing some names that we don't typically see up at the top when we cover the America stuff here on GSRC that are doing very, very well. Dawson Brock is, well, he's not in the Americas traditionally, but he's certainly faring well here today as he's up in 8th. Trevor Vovrosky looking good. Josh Wolf is another one I'm looking at who is all the way up to 5th. And driver you're familiar with, Adam, Riley Thompson here to try and show him how it's done.
Yeah, Riley Thompson, an old teammate of mine, is sitting in the pits right now, but he's running currently 9th. He's been very quick. He was running 3rd in the previous practice session we were in. So Riley coming over from that European region, he's always been a strong driver, just doing that for, once again, scheduling purposes. And it's awesome to see him being very successful today.
So just about a minute and a half left to go. They really bound them over those hurdles here at the Charlotte Roval, as it's like Vovrosky trying to keep that wheel spin down here through the infield section. Nick, I mean, if you were out there racing, where's the places where you expect most of them try and get passes done? Because from what I've seen in the past, it seems like it's tough to get them done here.
It is very tough indeed to pass someone else here on the Roval. And there are some decent opportunities. You have that the chicane right before the start-finish lines. A lot of times that's a heavy braking zone, and you can easily get out-braked by a guy behind you going through there. The infield doesn't provide too many opportunities that are safe. Of course, you see some drivers having to whirl it around there. That's Vovrosky. But you're gonna, it's kind of a single file groove all the way through there. The biggest passing opportunities here often come from drivers making mistakes or going just a little bit wide in front of you.
30 seconds left now on the clock. For those wondering how this is going to work between these two races and what's at stake, it's more than just winning one or the other race. They are going to score the top 10 in the points from each region, and then they're going to combine the points at the end. First gets 50 in each of them, 36 gets 4, and then there's a slew of them in between. We'll try and keep track of it for you and update you come the end once we get a bit of an update from the organizers of the league, and they've done the math on this. But they are looking for pride, not just personal for themselves where they can finish in these races, but also for the pride of their region. As the session ends here in the warm-up, let's go to our starting grid for today. Gonna be Steve Driscoll, who starts in P1 with Matt Danson in second place. Josh Wolf, excellent qualifying onto the second row in third. I mentioned Cameron Dance being one. Well, he qualified in fourth. Dawson Brock as well on the inside of row 3 in P5 with Riley Thompson next to him in 6th. That's a very young row in age. Kevin Hill in 7th today, and Mike Kelly will start in P8. Dean Mole will be starting 9th, and Uldis Puteklis is starting in 10th.
Josh Cole is going to start off in 11th position with Ross Banfield in 12th. Daniel Stevens starting off in 13th with Andrew Waring all the way back in 14th starting off. Interesting to see him cut through the field. David Baker starting off in 15th position with Michael Shertlock in the 16th position. Trevor Vavrowski starting off in 17th with Ty Keveth in 18th. Nick Kuhn and Tom Trailing round out your top 20.
Behind them, it's going to be row number 11 going to Jonathan Bain and Wayne Taylor in the 420. Harold Stadler and Wayne Hutchinson are going to be behind them, 23rd and 24th. Jeff Schmier is going to round out the top 25. Liam Quinn and Johnny Nichols are going to be right behind him. Jake Fox, who actually didn't get a practice lap time in, he's going to be in 28th. David Hall, and there's Dallas Pataska, who, like you said, we haven't seen for a while, but he's going to be back in 30th. Val Beltrami and Rob Gall are going to round out our 32-car field here at the Roval.
The Porsche pace car's taken off and is leading them around. Not quite the full field of 12 represented from each region that we expected, but as was mentioned earlier, few aren't really fans of the Roval, so they've decided to just run on the oval side. Still 32 is only 4 shy. That's a pretty decent run here of drivers and should actually offer us plenty of action they come through the infield portion. One thing I love about this place, I know we talked about it when Camo came here, Adam. I love that there's some actual elevation change in this Roval. You don't get that on road courses within an oval often.
No, the interior of Charlotte is actually a pretty decent hill if you've ever been there in real life, and it's just awesome to see that this road course is just carved straight out of it. They didn't change the profiling much on those hills at all, so it's awesome to see the course just undulate up and down. It actually makes it really difficult for these NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series cars to get through.
To the oval portion now, high-speed section of the track, as some of them trying to warm up the tires even there. It looks like Cameron Dance trying to do what he can to get a little bit of warmth in them for the start of this race. One thing I've heard in the past as well, Nick, is that I've heard some drivers say that it's a bit of a compromise. Do you want to be fast on the oval or fast on the infield? Do you feel like that's accurate?
Yeah, it definitely is. The problem with that here is that they've got fixed setups, so they're just going to have to be good all around, and they're going to have to make this work. That's kind of why the All-Star race here, they've made it fun. It's really just going to come down to drivers just being aggressive, putting it all on the line, and seeing who is the best.
All right, out of the chicane, you could see our second place driver, Danson, just cutting through. You are allowed to do that on the pace lap so that drivers don't accidentally get into one another as they try to weave through there. But as the pace car now pulls up to the pit entry, the control is going to be given to Steve Driscoll. Pace car ducks in. They can't go cut through the chicane like they can in real life. They're going to have to weave their way through this and gently get on the power. Green flag waves. Driscoll gets on the throttle gently ever so. Everyone behind doing the same. A few bouncing over the curbs as they come up to Heartburn turn for the first time. Are we going to get everybody through? So far, so good. And I think we got a good first corner.
Well, they're not the all-stars for nothing. These guys making it through Harper and turn very cleanly. Looks like we have everyone actually going well, so that's the start. But we actually do have an incident. That's Dean Mole who spun around in the infield. He's going to get her back going since there was a good amount of runoff there. But in the lead, Steve Driscoll leading Matt Danson and Joshua Wolf.
Danson with a little bit of a slide. He was already threatening on Driscoll through the infield, but Steve covered him off as they now come onto the oval portion. A lot of wheel spin from Danson. Once again, that car looks out of shape. He may be the top driver for the international region, but he is squirreling all over.
Everyone else behind them, it looks like they're going to get on the track all right, but this is where you're going to have to watch out for. They come down into the bus stop for the first time. Everyone looks to be all right, but those two wide situations, as we have one spinning there, they've got to get settled out or that's going to happen.
That's the 666 of Uldis. He's gone around and he didn't hit anybody, so he's able to get it going, but he's down in 20 seconds already. Top of the field, crossing the line, and it is Driscoll, Danson, Wolf, Dance, and Thompson. Your top 5 all separated by nearly nothing.
Relatively clean starting line. Ooh, look at that. That was a very, very tense moment there for our leader as he was just getting upset there. So that's going to lose him a lot of time.
Yeah, look at Danson. He was able to peek a nose in underneath there through the first couple of turns in the infield. Now he might have a run on him going up the hill.
Ooh, another slide there, this time though from our leader Driscoll, who seems somewhat out of sorts. Cut back in from Danson, but no opportunity to pass in here as they go by the flowers onto the oval back behind there. Don't forget Josh Wolf in third, just waiting to see if something's going to happen. A great exit for the 32 is going to offer an opportunity.
And they're coming down to a very tight braking zone here. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? Who's going to make it through the corner? It looks like Steve's going to break well. Matt, is it going to? Well, they're going to come together. This is going to give an opportunity to Joshua Wolf, who's going to make it through. Riley Thompson also makes it through on the bottom side as our leaders came together coming through the sharp hairpin.
I told you that 12 car is going to be watching with interest. Unfortunately for Driscoll and Danson, that did not turn out well. They're third and fourth respectively as Wolf is going to lead it to the line at the end of lap 3. Riley Thompson up to second with Danson actually, whoa, what happened here?
Cameron Dance missed the chicane. The 51 of Steve Driscoll got him a little bit offline, I believe.
So that's going to drop both of them backwards as Danson gets back up to third. Warring now into P4 as well in this as the battle continues back between Driscoll and Dance. Dance gets by, that bumps him up to fifth, and another spot lost as his fellow America's region driver Kevin Hill gets by Steve as well.
Mike Kelly now looking to take on Steve Driscoll there as they start to come through. They're going to head back onto the oval. At this point, it's going to be who gets the best exit here, and it looks like Steve Driscoll's going to get a much better exit than Mike Kelly, so Steve no longer under threat from Mike Kelly from behind.
Where this separated things up at the top by quite a margin where the top 5 could be thrown under a blanket. Now you can see they've got significant gaps. Really, this battle that we're watching on screen is one of the closest in the top as Cameron Dance takes a lot of curb into the backstretch chicane.
Yeah, I think Cameron Dance is struggling. I know he hit those turtles really hard through this chicane that he's about to be going through right now. This is the one that he overshot in the last lap. If you're wondering, they do not have the same penalty. He almost overshoots it there, gets right up on the curb, almost hits the wall. But if you're wondering, they do not have the same penalty that NASCAR does. They do not have to come to a complete stop. They just have to deal with the iRacing slowdown penalty here.
Well, Kevin Hill was by for just a moment, but in heartburn turn, he overshot it, and Dance snagged the opportunity to get back up into the top 5. They're continuing to lose ground as they swap that back and forth to Warring and Danson in third and fourth, who are well up the road, almost 2 seconds ahead now.
Andrew Warring is up 10 positions from his starting position in that 4th position. He started off 14th, guys, so he's already cut his way through most of the field and is now challenging Danson for 3rd. So this is a guy on a mission for sure. He wants to win this thing.
He had a spin in the back. Tom Dreiling for the European region spun his number 54 and is falling to the back of the field because of it. He's going to get it going, I think, without any more drama. We continue to watch the battle here between Warring and Danson rather. Onto the oval portion, though. Looks like the 336 didn't get the exit he needed.
Danson is also closing in on Riley Thompson in front of him. Maybe Thompson is just saving a little bit, riding right behind Josh Wolf, our leader.
Could be. I mean, I have to imagine tires are a bit of a concern. Do they go out pretty quickly here, Nick? Oh, we've had a wreck. This is Kevin Hill and Cameron Dance. They're both sideways in a very awkward and tight spot. Not much room to get backed around. We're going to look at the replay. Both of them just bounding over the curbs. 52 looks like he manages to get his nose in.
Oh.
And he's given space, but he caught the curb again.
Yeah, he catches that inside curb, and that bounces him straight out into Cameron Dance. And Kevin's still parked at the same place we last left him when we went to replay. So he's just now recovering. He's lost all of his positions all the way back to 30th now.
Cameron, though, has gotten going. Sorry, go ahead.
It looked like Kevin Hill just he couldn't steer when he was up in the air. I mean, I guess when your front tires aren't touching the ground, you have trouble steering.
Lots of cars off track right now. Wayne Hutchison being one of them. Dawson Brock was also off track. That was a big moment coming through the infield.
So this started in front of them. Trying to figure out. Oh, this was Udis and the 3.6, the 666 car.
He got hit by Johnny Nichols.
Yeah, and you could see just how everyone had to, when they tried to avoid him, there's just no track left. The car just doesn't have any more grip. Oh, yeah, that was another incident of getting into that inside curb, bouncing it out into the car outside of you.
I swear, they're snapping turtles, not just regular turtles out here. As we go back to the lead, Josh Wolf has found Thompson, Danson, and Waring all on his tail. Look at this, 4 cars, and this is all for P1.
Josh Wolf really struggling with grip out there right now. He went extremely wide through the infield. Riley Thompson looks like he's got a really good opportunity to get a good launch off the corner, and he does. I don't know that he's going to take the risk to try and pass down to the braking zone, but he's definitely close enough to try something.
Willing to risk it, or is he thinking big picture for the team instead of personal glory? He backs out of it. They're all going to cycle through single file. A little bit smoother, though, for the 58 of Riley Thompson. Getting on the power, both the cars just squirming as they press the throttle to the floor. And looking up to the high side, the 58 now maybe thinks of a pass coming to the second chicane. Backs out of it, thinks better of it.
You got to be really careful when you try to go on the outside of the NASCAR 3 and 4 there, because you're just about to lose a position. Now he goes back to the inside, but you could easily lose a position.
Almost 3 wide as third place, the international driver Matt Danson attempts to get involved. He thinks about maybe getting second place, almost loses traction there. Josh Wolf fends him off. Behind them all, Andrew Waring is awful close. If I were him, I'd back off of this a little bit.
And remember, guys, you got to think about this like a race like Tour de France. This is a team race that's going on right now. These 2 blue cars are trying to hold off the green and the gray car and the silver car behind them. Unable to do so, Matt Danson slots himself in right between Joshua Wolf and Riley Thompson. So that team game's up. And look at this, a little bit of contact to move him out of the groove. Joshua Wolf in it to win it today.
Big shot to the back. He tries to weave back down, but there is a car underneath. And Waring takes advantage with the momentum, just pulling on through behind Matt Danson. Covers off the inside, maybe actually an attempt for second as he outbrakes the European driver. Josh Wolf can barely hold him back. All of them doing this is allowing Riley Thompson to just run away.
Josh Wolf wanted to come back down and cover off the inside, but Andrew Waring is right there. Josh is going to have to dive it late into the brakes into this corner in order to put up a defense. He's going to choose not to. He's going to try and follow Andrew Waring through. Waring, once again, on a roll, up 12 positions from his starting position of 14.
Oof, Danson is just flying over the curbs here. He was very brave, but unfortunately his momentum interrupted as he has to get off the throttle coming at a heartburn turn, leaving 2 snail trails out of there.
Danson was, like you said, flying over those curbs, absolutely nailing them right down the center.
Oh, this has been some fun action up front, but we can't deny that there's still battles farther back. Mike Kelly, Dallas Pataska, Trevor Vavrovsky, a trio of European drivers all fighting together. A little look to the inside as Kelly has to give space to his teammate.
Remember, these are all teammates by region today, so the top 10 of their region will get scored. So these guys don't want to get into one another and spin each other right now, so they're going to play a little bit nicer than you'd expect as you see the two take to the apron there to avoid getting into any incident there.
Ooh, Liam Quinn just had a problem as well, and he hit the wall. This was in the infield. Don't know if we need a replay. He's managed to get it going once again.
Yeah, it looks like he just took it a little bit hard.
Come back to the battle for third place. Matt Danson once again swapping around with the number 12. We've had a lot of changes for position amongst these two, and this time it looks like it might stick. Boy, they have been aggressive on those tires. We're only on lap 9. We're not even halfway there, and I've seen so much slipping and sliding. I'm afraid for these leaders what their tires are going to be like. As Waring is starting to challenge Riley Thompson now. This is for the lead. Waring has gained a ton of time in a short amount of laps. I feel like if he doesn't make mistakes, Waring's got this thing wrapped up.
Yeah, and Riley Thompson is not known for being a very stubborn defender, so if Waring gets a quarter panel on him, I think Riley will let him through and try and chase him down that way. But Riley Thompson got a really good exit onto the oval portion, and he's just streaking away. Andrew Waring is going to have to do something. Oh, wow, look at this. Riley Thompson braking quite a bit earlier than Waring here. Waring able to still get down on pace, and he's going to have a better launch off the corner. So Andrew Waring just seems to have a better understanding of the intricacies of this course as Thompson goes high.
That's going to let him sneak through as they come down into the chicane, but Thompson, it looks like Waring rather got off the gas there, maybe trying to set something up. It's not going to be there this time.
I think he just didn't trust that Thompson was going to leave him the space at the bottom. In fact, he gets a good run out of the final chicane, but heartburn turn just not long enough stretch. It's a lot of curb for the 58, and that's going to hand it over on a silver platter to the 336.
Thompson trying to get back through, but no room to do that. The corner just arcing away from him, so he had to back out of it as he took a shallow apex. And Andrew Waring now in the lead, and with his pace, I don't see how Riley could stick with him. Let's find out whether he can.
Keep an eye out for Matt Danson, too, right behind him. He has been closing in on these guys battling quickly.
Yeah, I get the feeling that Danson is a lot like Waring here. He's got the pace underneath him. It's just mistakes and problems that have sent him backwards. It's now less than a second. And right on board with the International Region driver. Seeing both of them already within the windscreen. Let's pop back a little bit because got a number of cars clumped together between Vrivrovsky, Kevith, Statler, Kelly, and Daniel Stevens.
Yeah, Harold Statler's on charge up as well. Harold is only a couple of positions. Yeah, he's up 13 positions from his starting position. Kataska up 23 positions. So a lot of these drivers who didn't qualify well are racing very well today.
Out of the windscreen of Statler, you can see Kevith gaining on Vrivrovsky, and Vrivrovsky tries to defend. The car looks a little out of shape as they break now for the final chicane. He does get it under control in time, so pass will not be made between them, and Trevor holds on to 8th.
Stadler's definitely on a tear right now. He was able to get past Mike Kelly on that last lap, and with that battling between the triple two of Ty Kevith and Trevor Vrivrovsky in front of him, he's definitely been able to close that gap.
Stay with this, but I'm keeping half an eye on the battle for second because it's getting closer, and I'll give a shot if that starts to erupt. You can see one mistake from any of these 6 drivers we see on screen, and actually it's changing right now for second. Thompson's going to go wide, getting onto the oval, and Matt Danson, once again, an easy pass given away by that number 58 car.
And Riley is Europe's best hope at getting some good points here as Matt Danson clobbers the turtle curves. This is going to allow Riley Thompson to get a good exit. No, he can't get the power down. These NASCAR Cup cars is being so difficult to handle coming off of a slow corner like that. Matt Danson still spinning the tires in 3rd gear as they come up to the sharp hairpin before the switchback, before we get onto the straight. And Danson's finally going to be able to weigh it down, but that was very tense moments for both of them as they were wheeling it off the corner.
Incredible stuff. Oh, and a little bit of hit against the wall on the entry into the turn for Riley Thompson. I think he'll be able to get away with that because it was just a glancing blow. That settles that battle. Let's jump back to what we were looking at before between Vavrovsky, Keveth, and Statler. And there's a side-by-side behind them, actually, and contact between Kelly and the number 2 and Cameron Dance shoving his way through. Take another look at that one.
Cameron Dance, after wrecking in this turn a couple laps ago, he's been able to come back. He's definitely showing us that he's going to be aggressive to get these positions back.
I think the big difference, though, is that Dance didn't get spun around this time like his rival did before. Remember, Dance was the one to the outside before. Guess maybe he took some notes on how to do it properly. They come onto the oval. Dance up to 11th with about 2.5 seconds up to Statler, considering he qualified in 4th. Going to be a disappointing day if he winds up here. So we look a little bit up ahead. Vavrovsky still leading Keveth and Statler. We wanted to look at them before we got that little bit of contact behind them as they come around NASCAR 3 and 4 down into the braking. Oh, what's this? Vavrovsky in.
Interesting pit stop there for Vavrovsky, Ty Keveth, and Harold Statler. Ty was very loose coming back onto the oval after going through the first chicane. So Ty really struggling with rear tires. I think these guys are taking pit stops for those tires, Joe. It's a little early though.
It does seem so. It would be just about at halfway. Yeah, this is at halfway right here for Trevor Vavrovsky. Nick, no, he went through the pits.
Yeah.
Now, they don't have an incident limit here. Was that ordered by the stewards and we just missed it? That was bizarre.
I'm not seeing anything on my timing and scoring that would indicate that he was required to do a penalty, so I'm not entirely sure why he came into the pits at that moment.
So puts him amidst Wayne Taylor and Johnny Nichols for what is now 14th place instead. He was looking at 8th before this, and this is a mystery we'll have to get solved. I have no idea why he would do that.
Here comes Johnny Nichols right up his back bumper. Vavrovsky's going to have to defend coming into the first chicane. He's going to go to the outside. He's not going to defend. Looks like Nichols is going to think better of it as Vavrovsky takes it very deep into the corner. And once again, he's still very loose going through these turns. We'll see how he does on exit. Everybody's loose at this point. Those rear tires really wanting to give it a go. Vavrovsky barely keeping it on track right now.
And that's honestly why I thought he was coming in for tires.
Well, he's coming back in, it looks like.
Did he miss his pit stall last time, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking maybe happened if he was trying to get tires. Now, you asked about tires here, Joe. I mean, I don't know if only 13 laps in you need him that badly unless he has something wrong with his car.
There, we found it now. Alrighty. Although he was just a bit shy and has to pull forward. So maybe he's trying a bit of a different strategy. We really didn't expect pit stops to be a factor today. Down in 5th place, we got a battle between Josh Wolf and Michael Skurlock.
Yeah, Skurlock's been catching up to the back of Josh Wolf for a couple of laps now. Look at this, Josh Wolf going a little bit deep, but that's apparently not going to hurt his exit too much. So Sherlock is going to have to wait a little bit longer to try and make this pass, I think.
By the way, we don't need to go to it, but I think Pataska got by Thompson recently, and that puts him into 4th as
and Josh
another
Wolf has
pit
gone
stop.
to the pits. Yeah, it's Josh Wolf.
So
Now, I'm trying to remember, are Pataska and Wolf actual teammates, not just regional teammates? Because I wonder if this is just some team talk, maybe, that these are two drivers that maybe worked together and figured out what's going on with this. So he finds his stall a little bit cleaner.
Pataska is an independent driver for the European. He doesn't have a team, but he is on a roll. I really want to talk about him because he started off this race in the 30th position. He's now up to 3rd, and this is with only a couple of drivers having taken pit stops. So this man much like Andrew Waring, has a real commanding grasp on this track, and it'll be interesting to see whether these two come to blows towards the end of the race.
Sorry, I spoke the wrong name. It's Vavrovsky that I was thinking of. Pataska, not the one that pitted. Vavrovsky, I think, was his Wolf's teammate outside of just region. And he's the other one who is pitted already. Taking a look at the pit stop time. He is a Grizzly teammate here.
Yeah, definitely a teammate there. So those two guys definitely trying to split this race in half with the pit strategy. So it'll be interesting to see how the other drivers handle it.
Well, Josh Wolf has got a better chance of doing something with this because Vavrovsky had that extra drive-through. We take a look at Dance now, still on his drive back forward. He's caught up to his fellow international driver, Harold Statler.
Teammate
to the back from there.
Teammate and fellow driver as well. So these guys should play nice with each other. Let's see how Stadler handles this. Ooh, Dance flipping the inside wall a little bit there. That's going to slow him down coming back onto the oval. But it looks like Ty Kevin, who's ahead of them, is struggling a little bit on front end grip as well.
I have a feeling Dance is a little bit quicker of these two. He was a lot further up before his spin. But Stadler has also been on quite a run forward after starting back in 23rd. He's up here in this mix, up in 8th. So yeah, like you said, Adam, they are teammates. So I am curious to see how nice they play with each other here.
And just ahead of them, Steve Driscoll just hit the wall exiting this chicane. So look at this, Cameron Dance trying to signal to Stadler that he wants to go below him. Stadler not willing to give it up quite yet, so Dance is going to go to that high side and break a little bit early. We've got a pass Driscoll's just got passed by Ty Kevith, so maybe that hit was harder than I thought.
I think Driscoll might get him back here, though. In Heartburn turn, he will indeed.
Over under maybe. Kevith tries to pull him right back, and he's got the inside of this corner, but the outside of turn 3. So that's not going to quite work out. It settles in favor of Driscoll back in P6 as the two international region drivers continue to gain ground. Both Stadler and Dance are well within their mirrors at this point.
Dance actually got into the back of Stadler going onto the front stretch through that chicane. So I think Dance is going to run out of patience with Stadler very shortly if Stadler doesn't move out of the way here.
Tired of being heckled by Statler as he comes up onto the oval. Moving back down to the low side of number 39. Just continuing to hold him off, not going to play it easy on him. Obviously not as interested in the team game here because Dance could get a few more positions if he was let by.
Looks like Dance was definitely held up there through the bus stop too. He had the momentum, but he didn't have the room to get up side by side by him.
As this all is happening, Dallas Pataska has started to close in on Danson for second place as well. In fact, it's gotten extremely close. It's less than 0.3 between them. Lap traffic up ahead as well. That's Wayne Hutchison that they're chasing. That's not the leader. The leader, Waring, is a whole 4 seconds ahead. He's nowhere a part of this.
And remember that in the Major Series, blue flags are advisory only, much like they are on the normal iRacing service. Look at this. Danson getting held up. Pataska trying to make the move. Just gets into the back of Danson a little bit, but that gives Danson a bad exit. Pataska to the inside. I think this is going to be one and done here.
Depends on if he tries to come back at him into the braking of the chicane. He's way far back. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So the 23 moves himself up into third place after qualifying in 30th today. This has been a phenomenal run from the 23.
Yeah, I don't think you can do a whole lot better than that. And you were wondering about tires and people pitting. I mean, Dallas Pataska is a perfect example of why you don't absolutely need tires here because he's been aggressive too to get around all those positions to make it up here.
4.2 seconds. That's your number this time across the line. Up to Andrew Waring. Now that he's clear, what pace does he have? Back to the battle between Statler and Dance. He's still working to try and get by him. And he's not going to get it into this chicane. But look how fast he is in comparison to that number 39 through the chicane.
Yeah, Dance is tired of the hold up, but here we go. Ty Kevin got Harpin turned just a little bit wrong. This is going to hold up everybody. Can Dance take the opportunity here to try and make it by Stadler? He tries to look to the inside. Stadler is stoutly blocking Dance, which is an interesting strategy considering these two are teammates. There's the bumper. There it is. He moved him.
I don't know if it was intentional, but I'm sure he's not too sad that the 39 is now in his mirrors. And up next for him is going to be Kevith. He got slowed down a little bit by that move.
Stadler is actually not going to lose any positions from that. He had a long ways back to drivers.
Yeah, next one, though, is Josh Wolf with those fresh tires.
Yeah.
And I've been kind of poking my nose back there because he's up to 10th place at this point. And though I don't think it's made him up what he hoped for in terms of strategy, at least up to now, it does look like that car is quick.
Well, he's more than a second faster than the drivers ahead of him, even though he's about half a second slower than Dallas Pataska, who is flying right now. He's cut the lead down to 2 seconds already. But Josh Wolf, on those new tires, are working for him with gaining some time, but I don't know how many positions it's going to gain him at the end of the day.
It is really hot out here, we should point out as well. And that might be what caused a few drivers to decide to take tires. Look at that, 126 on the track surface. That is just scorching.
Joe, I have to bring us back to Pataska because Dallas Pataska is 2 seconds a lap faster than Andrew Waring right now. That would put him on the back bumper of Andrew Waring by the midpoint of the next lap. This guy is completely flying right now, and Andrew Waring, he's almost within a second now. Ooh, look at this battle on screen.
Yeah, that is Wolf trying to take a look to the inside, and he might have superior grip, but Statler has the track position. And we've seen how that goes before. Is it going to take another bumper? He might not have as much patience from this driver. He's going to get to the inside, really putting the power down. Shorter run around the bottom of the banking, and that's going to allow him through. Next up for Wolf, 10 seconds up to Cam Dance. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get that, but we'll wait and see. Meanwhile, Andrew Waring, having to deal with traffic, has a charging Dallas Pataska coming quickly.
Yeah, that traffic is only making it worse right now for Andrew Waring. He just got by Ross Banfield, but he's got a lot more drivers in front of him, too.
Yeah, up next is going to be Beltrami. The Salami is one of his regional teammates there from the Americas. Number 14 should know what to do here. He's been a pretty mentally astute driver from what we've seen over the years. Banfield now going to get overtaken by Pataska. 1.3 seconds between them.
Yeah, and Pataska was a second faster than Waring on the last lap. So Waring not able to keep the pace up as much as Pataska, though Pataska losing a little bit out this lap. So it's just the give and take. It's just back and forth as to what the traffic's going to do to these drivers and whether or not this lead's going to happen. They're coming to 4 to go this time.
Meanwhile, Nick Kuhn seems to have gone off in heartburn turn, and he looks like he's another victim of what we've seen often in real life here, just nosed it straight into the barrier.
He did get it slowed down pretty decently.
Car gets going once again. Boy, you said that the traffic was not helping Waring, but I'd say it's almost hurting Pataska more because for being a second quicker, he sure has taken a long time to get that last second down.
Yeah, they're both having to go through it, but look right here, Pataska, the next car in front of him is Andrew Waring, so he is there now.
Now they've got Liam Quinn ahead. Liam Quinn is on the same quote-unquote team, the international team, as Andrew Waring, so this could make things very interesting for those two.
Well, I believe Waring is on the Americas team with his chrome paint that he's got on there. But it's now down to half a second. Back to Pataska. Look at how confident Dallas is going through the chicane. Is this going to gain him enough to get an opportunity later? Maybe not close enough for the final chicane, but what about Heartburn Turn? That's been a site of a number of brave passes so far.
And if he can close in on him here, he's definitely going to have that opportunity. A little bit of a wiggle way over the curbs goes Waring in front of him.
Free to go now as we cross the line. Andrew Waring just trying to hold on to the car, trying to hold off Dallas Pataska. Can he do it? Dallas Pataska basically from the back of the grid. Here he comes trying to catch up to Andrew Waring. He's on his rear bumper. Waring is really going to have to work hard to keep Pataska behind.
He's got less than a car length between them now. Just absolutely stalking Andrew. Oh, and he almost gets up to him. He hits the curb too hard, and he's into the barrier. He's going to get away with it. Danson is a ways back. He's not going to be able to overtake him. Question is, how much damage does Dallas have, and how much pace is left in the car?
That's going to end his challenge for the lead. Andrew Waring now pretty much free to take off. But let's take a look at this. Dallas Pataska, he dives onto the inside here and clobbers that curb and just upsets the car just a bit too much, and that sends him into the grass where he doesn't have any grip and hits the outside wall.
You know, I think he was just blinded. He was so close to the car ahead, he could not see where he was turning into. From that onboard, there was just a face full of rear spoiler. We're now down to 2 to go as Andrew Waring comes to the line yet again. Now, there is some traffic in front of him, so that could yet offer an opportunity because it's about 4 seconds back to Dallas.
That traffic's going to have to be quite uncooperative, though, if Dallas is going to want a shot at this, I think.
I wouldn't put anything past any of the drivers here. Not saying bad racing per se, but just if they put Andrew in an awkward spot and he loses control of the car being offline, all bets are off to me.
That's true. We just saw what happened when you get blinded by someone in front of you, especially through these infield turns.
Meanwhile, Riley Thompson with yet more drivers trying to overtake him. This time it's Michael Skurlock who's caught up. Skurlock, one of those who's also made lots of great inroads from 16th to 5th place and looking at 4th.
Yeah, Riley has some pretty significant left, which could be affecting the drive and the steering of that car. So if he has a tow problem, that could be what's affecting his steering right now. Look at this, Skurlock hitting the outside wall pretty square. Probably not going to hurt the car that much, but it does hurt his challenge.
Yeah, he falls back pretty quickly to about half a second, 0.8 of a second. Down below them, David Baker, Wayne Taylor, and look at this, Daniel Stevens also in a 3-car fight. Sounds like Taylor just made this pass recently. Also, we just got the white flag for Andrew Waring. The 336 who started it from 14th up to the top spot, looked quick in the warm-up. And he is making mincemeat out of everybody else today.
Yeah, Pataska was the only one who really had an opportunity to challenge, and after that moment with the curve of the outside wall, he has not been able to gain enough time to get back. He has chopped about 1.5 seconds off of that deficit, but it's just not enough.
Here's what's really cool about all this. Top 3, we've got an Americas region, a European region, and an international region. So that tells you how evenly the talent is split between these 3 series. Into the backstretch chicane, the bus stop for one final time. Kind of sandwiched among these lapped cars. That's David Hall, who is waiting to stay behind. He doesn't want to try and risk the car. 21 looks like maybe he was going to let him by, but now he comes back down to the racing line. Andrew Waring to the final corner. Just has to be smooth through here. And indeed, up and over the curbs, a win in the Roval round of the All-Star race for Andrew Waring. Pataska's going to come home second, the top finisher for the European region, and Danson rounding out the podium, highest finisher for the International Club.
Looks like Riley Thompson's going to hold off Michael Skurlock here. Skurlock just unable to get enough of a run towards the end of this race. So Skurlock, as long as Riley gets a good exit, and he does, Skurlock unable to catch him. Riley takes 4th, Skurlock 5th.
Driscoll's going to barely beat out Kevith. And then how about Wolf and his climb back through? He actually did catch Dance and has gotten by, or no, it was Dance catching Wolf, excuse me. He was awful close to getting it done, even on older tires than Josh. But Wolf is going to take 8th, as Statler is going to finish close ahead of both Taylor and Baker as well. I think that'll be the last battle that we've got, as everybody else is going to come home pretty separated. We've got 21 cars on the lead lap. Curious to see what the split looks like between the regions for those points. We're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews. Stick around for more racing. We've got the oval side of our All-Star race here in the majors coming up soon. Back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Roval gave us a lot of excitement, and Andrew Waring certainly led for a good chunk of it from 14th to the win, with Dallas Pataska finishing second behind him, doing a one better and doubling that, going 30th to second. Then it's Matt Danson who finished third today with Riley Thompson in P4. Michael Skurlock is in 5th, and Steve Driscoll came home in 6th from the pole. Ty Keveth was 7th, and Josh Wolf was 8th. Then it's Cameron Dance, who could have been higher up, but unfortunately got a little bit of taken out in the first corner at one point. He was 9th, and the top 10 is rounded out by Harold Statler. Adam.
Wayne Taylor comes home in 11th place ahead of David Baker and Daniel Stevens, who finished close behind him, with Johnny Nichols holding off Dean Mole for the 14th position. Dean Mole coming home in 15th. Trevor Favrowski battles his way to 16th position, with Mike Kelly coming home in 17th, Dawson Brock in 18th position, and then your top 20 rounded out by Kevin Hill and Liam Quinn.
David Hall is going to finish behind Quinn. He's the last driver on the lead lap. After that, it's Jonathan Bain and Nick Kuhn, who have both had problems. Bob Beltrami going to be 24th, the top 25, rounded out by Ross Banfield, who had a late race incident. Otis Puteklis is going to be in 26th. He had 2 incidents on track today. Jeff Schmier, Rob Gull, Josh Cully, and Wayne Hutchinson round out the top 30. Those drivers all finished. Only Jake Fox and Tom Dreeling were our DNFs today, 16 and 17 laps down.
And with that, the drivers are already preparing for the oval race, which we'll bring you here in a moment. But a quick reminder about our charity that they are trying to raise money for here with this all-star race, and that is Feed the Children. Feed the Children exists to fight childhood hunger. It's the cause upon which they were founded over 40 years ago, and the one they continue to fight for each day. To find out how you can get involved, you can find more information at feedthechildren.org. Now, it looks like we've got Josh Wolf ready to talk to us, one of the more unusual strategies that we saw. Let's pull him in and see what he thinks about how that strategy went. Josh, we were watching you and Trevor come in for pit stops, and that caught us by surprise. Do you feel like that call for fresh rubber actually worked out?
I don't think there's really a gain or loss on it for me. I was falling back. It was mainly due to some practice earlier in the day. Um, that it seemed actually faster for us to make a pit stop about halfway through. So that was kind of the decision there.
Obviously, racing for the European region. I don't know if you've already got the numbers. We haven't got them in our hands yet. How do you feel that your team did so far?
I think we did decent for the Europe side because I know Dallas is running European, and then Riley Thompson. I think they finished up towards the top. Not sure on a whole bunch of the other guys, but I think we did pretty decent.
Well, it looks like you guys are getting ready to grid up pretty soon, so we're going to let you go. Again, commiserations, it wasn't better, Josh, but hopefully we'll see you up at the front here in the Oval.
Yep, we'll see what happens.
That was Josh Wolf finishing mid-pack. I've already lost those numbers there of where he finished last race as the drivers are out there and we're getting ourselves into the session. So that was fascinating, boys. That was certainly as we expected in terms of difficulty managing tires and things like that, Nick. It looked like those who might not be as experienced with road were certainly at a disadvantage.
Yeah, we'll have to see what kind of advantage they have now over the road specialists here as they go on the oval. And the tire game, the tire question is going to be a question here as well. It is under the lights, so it'll make the track a lot cooler. It's certainly not in the 120 degrees. It's down to 81 degrees here on the oval, which is definitely going to help them. But they've got other factors as well, like more downforce. They've all apparently run to the garage and put a little bit of a bigger spoiler on these cars, so they might have a little bit more traffic to deal with on the tighter turns here on the oval.
Indeed, and I believe hopefully we should get all 36. So while we've got some time, why don't we take a look at our track guide here for the oval portion?
Welcome everybody to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Even though it was built more than 4 decades ago, drivers still love to race at this 1.5-mile quad-shaped oval. Located just a short 13-mile drive from downtown, Charlotte also shares a similar track shape to what you would see at the Texas Motor Speedway and the Atlanta Motor Speedway as well. Despite turns 1 and 2 having the same banking as turns 3 and 4, the two ends of the speedway could not drive any different. Turn 1 and 2 are much more of a sweeping corner, really carrying the speed down into the corner and trying to get that hole shot out of turn 2 down the backstretch. Turns 3 and 4 drive much tighter than 1 and 2, really having to get the car to rotate in the middle of 3 and 4 to make your entry and your exit point. Getting a lap in around here in one piece usually requires some calm nerves and a patient foot. Charlotte was one of the first speedways to install lights around the facility, giving night racing a whole new berth. Charlotte is also known for its place in the perfect day of racing every Memorial Day, acting as the caboose after the Monaco Grand Prix and the Indianapolis 500. If Daytona is the pinnacle of NASCAR racing, then Charlotte has to be just a bumper behind. Fans flock to the largest sports facility in the Southeast and NASCAR's home track. This has been our guide to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Love that beautiful fresh coat of paint that they've put on here, but it's time for the grid. We'll get that information up on screen in just a moment, but audibly we can tell you that Steve Driscoll is going to be on the pole with Matt Danson, once again showing pace and starting second. Then it's Josh Wolf in P3 with Cameron Dance in P4. Dawson Brock fifth with Riley Thompson in sixth and Kevin Hill in seventh. Dean Moll will start P8 today. Mike Kelly in ninth and Andrew Waring in 10th.
Josh Coley's actually going to start from the pits, so P11 goes to Oldis Puteklis, and then we have Daniel Stevenson who's going to start off in P12 with Ross Banfield P13, Nick Kuhn 14th. Michael Skurlock is going to start off 15th with David Baker 16th. Wayne Hutchison, Trevor Favrowski, and Jeff Schmeier round out your top 20.
Behind them, we've got Liam Quinn in 21st, and alongside Ty Kenneth in 22nd. Johnny Nichols, Tom Drilling, Jonathan Bain, David Hall going to be top 26. Wayne Taylor 27th. Dallas Pataska, can he do it again? He's back in P28. Harold Stadler back there as well, 29th. Bob Beltrami, Jake Fox, Rob Gull, and John King are going to round out the 33-car field on the oval.
And not quite totally full, but still good enough for a fantastic race as we get ready to go for 50 laps this time. And the Mustang pace car is just about ready to pull off. So what are we going to see here with Driscoll up on the top spot? Pace car is in. Driscoll waits. Now he gets on the loud pedal. Green flag is out here for the oval race of the All-Star race here in the majors. Gets a good run ahead of Matt Danson and clears him. It's down side by side only when you get to 4th place here. Dawson Brock up against Cameron Danson. He's going to come out on top between those two.
Riley Thompson behind them is going to get a good exit, but then we have Kevin Hill battling with Dean Moll and Mike Kelly. They're going to be 3 wide as they go down the back stretch. This is going to be interesting going into 3 and 4. And look at that. They're going to split him with Jacobs coming around on the outside. But look at that. Dean Moll actually went a little bit high there and is now going to have to back off. This gives an opportunity for Kevin Hill to get by on the 7th spot.
And there's Andrew Warren coming into things as well all of a sudden. He finds his car now very much in the mix. He doesn't quite manage to get by the 2 of Kelly. He's going to slot in the line, mostly single file until you get to the back of the pack. Your leader still Driscoll Danson giving chase with Josh Wolf currently running 3rd. A little bit of change of position. We have a loose car there, something. Statler suddenly falling downward. Or no, he's a lap down.
Yeah, Harold actually started off in the back of the pack, but take a look at this. We got a big bottle up here behind Mike Kelly, who's right in behind Statler, actually. And they're actually battling side by side between Andrew Waring and Riley Thompson right now.
Yeah, Stadler starting from the pits. That caused a big stack up front. Almost allowed Danson to get by Driscoll, but instead that's going to create a bigger gap for him.
Driscoll's still going quick, though. He set the fastest lap of the race so far. We continue to watch this fight for what is 6th place, Kelly in that number 2. Meanwhile, we look at Driscoll now on screen. The Unorthodox Motorsports driver has got an easy edge over Danson behind him.
These 50 laps are going to go really quick, Joe. It's going to be really, really fast for these guys. But also, at some point, these tires are going to start to wear off. And with this fixed setup, you never know whether it's going to be loose or tight. It's going to depend on the traffic and also how you drive the car in this first stint of the race.
We got a big pack of cars behind them. You can see there on your screen down the backstretch. Nick Kuhn, Trevor Vovrosky involved in that. Kevin Hill. In fact, we might get the 777 of Ross Banfield in the mix, but he's going to back out of it. Oh, look at all the shuffling this is causing, though. Nichols and Baker have to lift.
Well, you can see all that started when Nick Kuhn got shuffled to the outside. And that's just going to show you just how one groove this track is. The outside here not working out for these drivers this early in the race.
There's no grip up there right now. There's no rubber up there. There's no one going up there to give the rubber. So they're going to have to hope that these guys do go side by side for quite a while in order for them to gain that rubber on the high side. But the leaders already stretched out about half a second between each of them. Andrew Waring, though, battling with Riley Thompson.
Take a look at that fight for 7th place. Waring's down on the low side on the 336. Thompson in the 58. It's actually Mike Kelly up to his high side in the number 2. Still fighting back against him. Not quite going to work out for the 336 as he didn't have enough momentum. Into 3 and 4. You said that high side isn't working, but the 2's not giving up on it. Finally, eventually, he slots in the line.
I think he saw Riley Thompson coming right behind him, who got a big run, and he was almost able to slip underneath if Kelly wasn't going to go down there.
Nick, how bad is the Aero push when you're tucked in behind a car like Riley is right now, right behind Mike Kelly? Is it something that really pushes you up the corner?
It certainly is, especially with this high downforce package that they're using here on the oval, but especially right where they are now in turns 3 and 4. You can see Kelly kind of slide up there out the back here on the onboard. 3 and 4 here, a little bit tighter than 1 and 2, and that's especially where it's going to hurt you.
So as we continue to watch this fight coming on the back stretch, things have settled into a rhythm at this point, and already the laps are ticking off. We're nearly 10 in, with Driscoll being your leader. Danson is in second, has been trying to hold touch. Josh Wolf, how about him, up in third place, where he started this race. Has been actually working with Dawson Block quite a bit. Those two I know are old friends and might actually be teammates.
This is Riley Thompson underneath Mike Kelly, the 58 car going through, and he's actually going to be able to hold on to it there. But Mike Kelly has a good run off the corner. He's actually going to decide to back off a little bit, save a little bit of tire, and hang out behind Riley going into 3 and 4.
Drifts a little bit high. Thompson off the line as the 2 stays tucked down to the painted line. He's going to be able to get to the inside. Back behind him, no discount Statler in the International Region paint. He could find himself a chance to try and sneak a spot here. But it looks like even though he holds low, his momentum isn't there, and he's going to fall back in line.
You got to remember that Statler's actually a lap down, so he's trying to hang out here and gain some time back. He is, I believe, he is the first car a lap down, so.
He is.
Yes, he is. So this is going to make it, so he's trying to hope for a caution at this point.
He's going to burn out all night long if it stays like this. Meanwhile, look at him really fan out.
The battle for the lead is actually happening right now. Matt Danson got a better exit than Steve Driscoll going on to the backstretch. Danson down to the inside of 3 and 4, and he's going to put a little bit of a slide job there on Steve Driscoll. Driscoll just trying to hang on to that car coming off of 1 and 2. Was able to do so, but Danson has quite a run.
Yeah, it looked like Driscoll really wanted to duck underneath him once again, just there wasn't space there once the 30 had covered the side line. This is all happening about a half a second in front of Wolf and Brock, which right now, both of those European drivers are going to be introducing some good points to this mini championship they have. It is the European region that is winning right now, so they don't necessarily need to have those top 2 spots. Second or third and fourth, rather, will give them plenty.
That definitely helped them close in the gap, though, Joe, to second place when Driscoll and Danson got side by side, because Josh Wolf is able to get a big run on him, and Dawson Brock not putting up too much of a fight anymore, so they're kind of able to drag with each other. Let's see if they make any ground on Driscoll.
Let's go back to Thompson, though, because he's getting overtaken yet again. It's 2 America's drivers, Johnny Nichols and Kevin Hill. They're going to get by. So that moves those 2 up into 9th and 10th, and then up ahead of them, that's Trevor Vavrovsky as well.
Yeah, Thompson got in went through 1 and 2 right in behind Stadler, and that ended up pushing him up high, which is what allowed Mike Kelly to get to his bottom side, and then he just got stuck on the high side. As we see up ahead of him, Stadler getting in front of Kelly as well, so it looks like Stadler's playing a little bit of a team game here and blocking up these European drivers.
Yep, and number 2 certainly got slowed down by that, and has now been backed up into Vavrovsky with Kevin Hill and Johnny Nichols gaining ground. Looks like Hill might be able to get past his teammate. He's going to look to the inside. Just behind him, though, the 52 of Hill is thinking about trying to follow through, ride the train. Oh, a little bit of a tap to the backside, getting impatient as he gives a hello up to that European region driver.
These 2 European region drivers trying to hold off the 2 American drivers in those silver cars. These European guys, remember, they have the lead in the points right now. They won last round, so this gives them an opportunity to try and gain more points. But Johnny Nichols just really strong on the bottom side of Mike Kelly there, and he's going to end up pushing Mike Kelly back towards Riley Thompson.
These drivers on the outside, that rubber not coming in yet, maybe a little bit more. But Mike Kelly, he's going to be under fire from Riley Thompson, who just lost all these positions if he's not careful.
A lot of good racing right now that we're seeing throughout the track. Look at him close into the corner. Mike Hill seems strong, taking the car down in, and that's not a setup difference. These are all fixed setups that the drivers are in. Statler, though, still continuing to hold up cars as he unlaps himself. He's clearly quick, but he's making life a headache. Waring is the one he's just overtaken, and that's backed him up into Vavrovsky, who gets a good run off of 4.
Statler playing good rear gunner for Cameron Dance, who's up ahead of him. Cameron doing an excellent job of just
We
trying
got
to
a
sneak
caution.
away from it. Oh! It looks like
Oh.
Rob Gall and Ross Banfield.
This is off of 4. Let's see if we can figure out what happened between them. Oh, you know, this was all that close racing. I kind of wondered if it would come to a head. Unfortunately, Gall is going to get tipped by the 777 of Banfield out of turn 4, and you are coming off at a huge head of steam through there. They're going to collect another driver, Jake Fox, there in the green International Region car, who clips them.
It's important to remember these guys do have a spare car, so they can drive their damaged car into the pits and get a new car and bring it back out there. So these guys' races are not done yet.
Now, for those wondering, I know we did mention that the European region is leading the points after the Roval portion. That is at 273 points that they have. The international region is in second. They're ways back, 244. And then it's just a little bit of a skip back to the Americas at 228. I'm actually, admittedly, a little bit surprised by that, Adam, because a lot of the drivers flocked to the Americas regions because they claimed it was more difficult to try and win as we get pit stops going on.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised too. It's a little bit of a funny story to see that going on, and it's awesome to see the European region being represented so strongly here.
Absolutely.
And the Americas guys are going to have to really bring it as they come into the pits right now. They're going to need to bring it in these final closing laps. We're almost halfway through this race. By the time they get restarted, we probably will be.
And Rob Gall just goes straight through, but he was a lap down. Ross Banfield does too. Steve Driscoll up at the front, but not the first to come in. That was Danson who had taken the lead away. He's going to be the first out as well. Oh, and what happened to Driscoll? He's stuck in his stall. It's a long stop for him.
So I wonder if he has damage.
Or a penalty.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, how long was it? Because he's out now.
He wasn't speeding that I see.
That's only 10 seconds longer, so yeah, that's not a speeding penalty.
Oh, maybe he didn't. Maybe he took too much fuel.
That could be right there. But you can immediately uncheck that and stop it, I think. So, I have to do some research to understand what happened there. So we take a look at the difference in the pit time. So what this is going to do is Danson still leads. Brock is now up into second, and Wolf is into third. This is very good news for the European region, who's already got a handy points lead here. There is the difference between the two, about 10 seconds between our leader and what was second place.
Yeah, I don't know if that was fuel related. I don't know how much really they would need right here.
Tires would really be the only thing, I think.
Yeah, he didn't have damage that was at least cosmetic.
So how is this looking for the various regions? Again, your leader is international. It's Matt Danson in the number 30. Cameron Dance is back in fourth. So here between the European and the international. Shockingly, you have to go down to fifth before you get any of your Americas drivers. This was expected to be their strong point here on the oval side.
Yeah, it was. But take a look at this. These international drivers, 3 in the lead, and then it's Cameron Dance back down, like you said, in that 5th position, or that 4th position rather. So, oh, sorry, rather it's. Yeah, so it's Matt Danson in the lead with Cameron Dance in 4th position, and the European drivers, Dawson Brock and Joshua Wolf between them. So the first American is Andrew Waring, and that is, like you said, Joe, quite a surprise.
So we should get the lights off this time by as they get led around. We got a couple cars that are going to be waved around. That's Jonathan Bain and Harold Statler getting their laps back. In fact, Bain, I think, is still going to be 1 lap down after this, unfortunately, but Statler will be back on the lead lap.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on Harold Stadler. Remember, he started from the pits, and Joe, you don't have to have a headache anymore because he's going to be on the lead lap with everyone else. It's going to be. Yeah. He was very quick though in the pack. I'm wondering how many positions he's going to make up. Maybe that was the right call for him.
Yeah, and I also kind of wonder how much of it was actual pace or if drivers just saw him
Yeah.
and decided, well, it's not worth trying to fight a car a lap down in a 50 lap race, so just letting him through. Maybe they'll regret that if he winds up climbing his way back through the field yet again. Now double file with Danson to the inside and Brock to the outside. Bill Zahn nicknamed him Never Say Die Dawson Brock, and well, you can see why. Dawson looking at a potential win here today, depending on how things can go. We're not even halfway through this race, and climbing from inside of the third row to the outside of the front row on our first restart. Cameron Dance, who is a black stripe, and if I'm not mistaken, Miss Oval champion on the oval side, on the dirt side specifically. So he can translate this over to paved oval and maybe make himself an all-star champion. As Matt Danson gets ready to take the green flag, we're going to crank it up to 11 here on GSRC. Let's listen to the roar of these Cup cars. Got a caution right away. Looks like Wayne Taylor potentially. He's in the back. Ooh, Wayne Taylor and Liam Quinn. Looks like they were the ones involved in it.
Oh yeah, and this was a mischief that happened up ahead of them. Wayne Taylor reacted to it. They ended up getting into the side of Liam Quinn. I'm sure Liam will be none too pleased about this one.
Liam is quite an oval master, at least in the IndyCar. He's won the Indy 500, which is a very coveted race here in the majors. Their version of the Indy 500. He's going to go up and over.
Was Quinn involved in that first accident? Because if so, he's not going to have a fast repair here.
I don't think he was involved in that first one. His car is definitely severely damaged enough that he will need to use that fast repair. It looks like he's just trying to kind of keep up with the back of the pack as it crabs its way along.
Yeah, that thing is definitely not driving straight. He's got to have the wheel pretty far to the right to keep this thing going at any speed. So Liam not taking it into the pits that time around as the pits were closed. So he's waiting for the normal time to come in. Look at how much he has to turn the wheel just to go straight.
Definitely at least going to have to come in for repairs. Hopefully he does have that spare car waiting for him, because he will be on the lead lap, thankfully, and be able to continue to compete. Well, we went so far without any cautions, Nick, in the first half of the race, and we got our first one. We immediately get another. Do we have yellow fever brewing?
We definitely might. But the one thing that's interesting with this new Cup package, you would think that we would just that with any kind of pack racing, you're going to get a lot of wrecks. Well, they were pretty much all pack racing there for those first 20 laps. Sure, they spread out a little bit, but this most recent caution was just a missed shift, and everyone else got away cleanly. So I wouldn't put it past them. Some very good drivers, obviously, in this All-Star race, and I wouldn't be surprised if we had another caution or if we were able to take this thing straight to the end.
See Quinn back out on track, having taken the free repair. Just going to cycle up to the back of the field. We should note about Danson that he's actually very highly regarded on the oval side from the Australian competitors. We focus so much on it being sort of an American-centric sport, but there's been a few ovals out there in Australia, and there's plenty of dirt racing. I know that for a fact. Danson apparently showing that he's not just quick here on the so I think we get a little bit of fun there from some of the cars behind. That was Wolf and Brock just taking through the chicane. But yeah, Danson showing he's quick on the road and on the ovals.
This restart's really going to be telling, because we're going to be down to about 11 to go by the time, 12 to go possibly by the time we get back to it. So these cars are going to run out of tires pretty quickly. So You're going to see a lot of these guys be super aggressive here at this next restart just to try and get as much track position as possible before the tires give up on that high side.
So we wait for them to get double file. Still need to come around for another half a lap, I think, before we're going to get that motion. Who have we got who have been big movers so far? Looks like Johnny Nichols is honestly one of our best, going from 23rd to 7th, 16 positions up. That's in stark contrast to Steve Driscoll with his bad pit stop, 16 positions down for him.
Dallas Pataska also up 16 positions. He's back down in 12th position. Expect him to be trying to cut through the field, much like he did during the Roval race.
Of course, also need to mention, we talked about Cameron Dance being a black stripe champion on dirt ovals. He's also a champion for the Mario Andretti Trophy. For those not familiar with the majors, that is essentially the driver's trophy that is awarded to the driver who takes the overall points across the season. The reason it's the Mario Andretti Trophy, well, it is because Mario was fast in pretty much every discipline that you stuck him in, and he's graciously put his name on that. That is actually from Mario himself. They have gotten his permission to do that for this series. So we give a big thank you to Mario for doing that these last couple years. It's been an absolute joy as a longtime IndyCar fan myself to have him involved in this series. Now, if only we could get him to interview on air one of these nights, that would be fantastic. Double file now, and the lights are out. Matt Danson in the number 30 is going to have to deal with Dawson Brock. Young phenom up there to his high side in the number 83. Played college baseball as well for a while. Unfortunately, he's had a little bit of injury lately. He's had to step aside from that, but it hasn't hurt his sim racing one bit, it seems. That shoulder seems to be working quite well at turning the wheel. As we wait for the pace car to pull in, Mustang is now down pit lane, and no wait at all from Matt Danson. He's off like a shot, leaves the two Grizzly Motorsports drivers behind. In fact, that is a pretty good gap here at the start.
Josh Wolf's going to be able to sneak underneath the 83 on to the inside as well. Dawson Brock, he might be losing momentum there up on the top side.
Down low, look at this. Andrew Warren getting back into the mix, too. The 336 has got that desired low line. Oh, he drifts up a little bit. He's going to have to lift big time.
Look at
everybody behind trying to avoid him. And we got another caution.
Yeah, this is Tom. This is Dean Mole, looks like, was involved. Tom Drayling as well. Ross Banfield once again involved.
Starts with one of the international cars, Dean Mole, in the 31 is the first one. He gets a little bit of a tip from the 66 of Daniel Stevens, and then it's going to be a chain reaction behind him. Unfortunately, Dreiling just plows into him.
And their teammates, too.
Oof. And Ross Banfield, the other one who caught the biggest of that. Almost got this one going. From Ross's perspective, he comes up to it last of the three. Oh, and it is so hard to see through the smoke in this nighttime setting.
Just nowhere to go, too. Even if he was able to see, I don't know if he'd have much room to get around on the outside there.
See, they've already slotted in behind the pace car. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. We've had 3 quick cautions after some very good racing for the first half, but we still got plenty to go here on the Global Sim Racing channel for the All-Stars, or the Majors All-Star race in the correct order. Stick around because there's more to come. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're watching the Majors All-Star Race, race number 2. First was at the Roval, now we're at the Oval. And Matt Danson is going to lead the way on our restart. Josh Wolf is going to be to his outside ahead of Dawson Brock, who lost that spot in just the lap or so that we raced last time. Andrew Warren will be starting in 4th. Cameron Dance falling back to row 3 and 5th on this one. Let's see if we can get this one going green to the end. We will restart on lap 40, or not 43, 34. A bit dyslexic today, unfortunately. Lost a couple already, sadly. 31 of the 33 starters are still going. We head around NASCAR 3 and 4. Danson has looked like he's been a bit of a dominant force ever since Driscoll fell to the mid-pack. Is it going to continue that way? Pace car is in. Green flag is out as Matt Danson accelerates away down towards the line. It's a better run from Josh Wolf this time. Seemed to have timed it a lot better with Danson before they got smoked. This time down to the inside. European drivers looking to fill 3 of the top 4 as Trevor Vavrovsky is going to get to the inside of the 336.
336 trying to get down to the inside of the corner as well, but he's not going to be able to do it. Andrew Warren stuck up there on the high side with Cameron Dance down looking on to his bottom side in that number 1 machine. Johnny Nichols tucked in behind him in the America's car with Michael Skurlock right in behind them. They're going to get side by side now with Michael Skurlock trying to look to that inside line. Ooh, man, everyone's getting held up here as Cameron Dance is on that high side, and Riley Thompson got pushed up way high. He's all the way to the high side as you see him dropping out.
Basic maneuvers for him practically to try to avoid the check up. You can see up ahead still side by side between Nichols and Dance. Dance on the high side with that green car, the number 1 on it as they cross the line. Ooh, a battle ahead of them as well. This is for 3rd place. Vavrovsky manages to sneak by Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf is stuck on the outside right now, and he's got to be careful because Andrew Warring, he's going to follow Trevor Vavrovsky, but Vavrovsky's going to scoot up to the outside here.
Oh,
no! It's tipped around.
The 12's still going.
Car is getting into the back of him, and this is going to be a big one.
Oh, it's huge, Joe. This is everybody behind him is gone. Joshua Wolf with nothing left of his car.
Oof. As he thankfully lands on all fours. This starts with contact with Warring. He caught it. He had caught the car. It's just, unfortunately, I almost wonder if he was trying to get back down the banking to get out of everybody's way, and that move put him in front of a huge pack that was too wide.
Wow.
Watch it here. Watch the 12.
Warring just really dove it in there to 3, and yeah, oh my goodness, that is oh my gosh.
Trying to find a good escape car here. And I tell you what, Kevin Hill in the number 52 managed to get right underneath everything.
He did indeed.
He was awful close.
He's going to see this happening up ahead of him, and look at how he just sneaks through everyone diving off to the right. Wow.
He had
So
a couple.
close for
He had a couple different things to avoid there. He had the big one, and then Mike Kelly, who kind of shot out of nowhere into the wall.
Well, that's going to change things significantly. A lot of cars naturally had to come into the pits for their spare. Don't think this is anybody getting tires or anything. So up at the front, this leaves us with Danson, Brock in 2nd, Vavrovsky in 3rd. Warring is now in 4th. Johnny Nichols up to P5. Skurlock is in 6th. Pataska back up to 7th. Kevin Hill in 8th. So David Baker, I see, is in the top 10. Jeff Schmeier, I think those who were at the back of the pack and had time to react had gained a lot of positions from this travesty. Thankfully, Nick, it looks like the virtual fans are okay.
Yeah, they are all safe out there on the outside of turn 4. The Wolf went straight into the cage.
Well, I was hoping you'd give what you had mentioned in our chat in the background, but that is actually a very good one right there. I'll accept that as a replacement. We can see the pace car leading the way here. Going to take us around a few more laps of caution. Did we lose anybody? Wolf is not taking his free repair, by the way. He's already 2 laps down. He wasn't involved in another incident, was he?
Possible he got contact from one of the earlier incidents, but Joshua Wolf looks like he did.
Yeah, he's taking his repair.
He did end up taking his repair. So yes, so he's repaired now and is going to get back out on track.
Now, how did he wind up 2 laps down? What if he just couldn't limp it back in time?
I think he had a tow. Yeah, I think he had a tow to the pits.
Ah, well, that is a shame because he's going to have a fast car, clearly, but can't really do much with it. And this could be a very short shootout to the end, less than 10 laps that the drivers will have to try and figure out who is the all-star champion on the oval side. This took out a lot of the European drivers up at the top. Many of them were in that Grizzly team. Brock and Vavroski are the 2 left up there in 2nd and 3rd. This promotes Waring and Nichols, 2 of our America's team drivers. I know we're probably a little bit biased over here, but this will probably mean that they'll gain a little bit more in that little mini championship they're running.
Yeah, it looks like out of the top spots we have 2 international drivers, 3 European drivers, and 3 Americas drivers in the top 7. You can add another European and American driver for the top 10. So looks like everyone it's pretty even as far as distribution, but remember, the points pay out bigger for the higher places you are, so don't expect these guys to just simmer down at this point. They're going to be racing for that win.
And they are double filed, so it will be exactly 10 laps to go. Hopefully we'll get green all the way to the end. Can Matt Danson hold off Brock Vavroski? Waring, all very fast drivers. Could Nichols maybe find himself as an underdog starting from 23rd and get into things? Skurlock is another one that we really did not expect to play a major factor, but has worked his way upwards. Behind them, Dallas Pataska back in the game. He went from 30th to 2nd on the Roval. Well, how about this? 28th to 7th here on the oval side and could yet earn some more. Now into NASCAR 3 and 4. We are now down to 30 cars left as we've lost one more. Mike Kelly sadly out of this race now. Pace car out of NASCAR 4 into the pit lane. And Danson, who backed it up a little bit, gets a good run. Some wheel spin from Dawson Brock does not hold him back. In fact, he's got a little bit of an overlap, but he's not going to be able to hold it by the time they get into turn 1. He settles in behind him, but boy, is he close.
Right behind them, we have Skurlock and Johnny Nichols fighting for that 6th position. Skurlock with the green car on the outside. He's not going to be able to do anything with it, but look at this. Dawson Brock's going to look to the outside here for the lead of the race. Not where most ideal. Oh no, and Skurlock's around. Netcode in the back is going to send him around. This is going to be another caution. Big one in the backfield.
You're right, it was a little bit of netcode. He got, I guess, virtually tapped by Kevin Hill there in turn 3.
And Liam Quinn once again involved, Bob Beltrami, Joshua Wolf, Steve Driscoll, all these drivers who got caught up in other incidents that weren't their fault. Again, once again, having the same happen.
Yeah, and this once again happened in front of a lot of cars who just couldn't really pull out of the way. I think the 17 of Hutchinson got a piece of it.
Look at all those America's cars that got involved with everybody, and this was before they got up to Skurlock, so this was a whole separate incident. All these American cars getting into one another.
Yeah, there is a whole group. Driscoll, Quinn, Gall, Kuhn, Beltrami, Hall. They were kind of clumped together, and they were already banging off of each other when they came upon the accident. So there was just little to avoid it.
That's definitely going to sideline a couple of drivers back there, I think, who just took their fast repair.
I think you're right. It's gone from bad to worse.
It starts with that 24 up on the outside. Oh, wow. So they get... Oh, wow. This is very interesting. It was one of the international cars down low that ended up dooring the America's car in the middle.
I think he
which
was
ended
trying
up
to take
setting him up.
evasive action. I think he was trying to get out of the way because he could see the wreck in front of him. And, well, when there's cars up above you, you can't really take evasive action into them. So how does this change things once again? Because Skurlock was pretty high up the order. So Danson, Brock, Vavrovsky, Waring, Nichols, that's your top 5. Hills now into 6, Pataska into 7th, Schmeier up to P8. We didn't get to show the replay, but Adam, you were noticing that that Schmeier made a miraculous escape.
Yeah, Schmeier made a miraculous escape, and that was in the last caution, so he's still surviving up there in 8th position. And he probably is going to need to change his fire suit after this one, for sure. But yeah, we have 2 international drivers, 4 European drivers, and 4 American drivers in the top 10 right now.
That's looking good for the European region then, as they were doing the best coming into this at 273. Guessing they will probably stay put in that top spot if things cycle how they are. That's not a guarantee. We haven't done the math yet, but it could be that the Americas maybe overtake the International. But fortunately for the International, they've got the top spot right now, and that pays, obviously, the most points at 50 for your winner. Then it's 45 for second and 40 for third. So it's not huge margins, but still, it'll be a big help for that green team.
So Nick, these drivers have not run a lot of green flag laps on their tires, but they have run a couple and have gone through quite a few heat cycles. Is that going to affect how the car handles going into this, what is likely to be the final restart?
Well, the good thing for them is that I think they're pretty much all on the same cycle here, so I'm sure it's not going to be perfectly a perfect handling car. The tires are warmed up a little bit. Of course, the caution laps will cool that down significantly. But I think that was what helped Dawson Brock on the last restart. And that's what you're going to have to watch out for again. In the beginning of this race, the driver who started on the outside of row 1 almost certainly was going to drop to 3rd or 4th. Last time Dawson Brock was able to hold it on the outside, he was able to come down, get a draft behind Matt Danson through turns 1 and 2. And then if the caution hadn't come out, he was setting up a pass on the backstretch. If Brock's going to have another good restart, you're going to have to watch out for that because Trevor Vavrovsky has been moving through the field quickly from 19th to 3rd. He's going to jump on any opportunity he sees.
And guys, I wonder how important a clean car is going to be, especially with such short runs. And it will be a short run to the finish if we can get to the checkered flag here. Because as we rode on board with Dallas Pataska, I was noticing that Kevin Hill has a lot of rear end damage on that number 52. It is not looking healthy as we go too wide.
And Andrew Waring as well has a lot of front end damage, it looks like. So yeah, that's definitely going to have a big impact. But if they can get in the draft, that might help them, especially if there's problems in front of them.
So we're going to restart with 5 to go. If we get a caution almost immediately, I think there might be a chance of a 1-lap restart, but that is a very slim chance. And if they get any caution after they complete a lap under green, this will finish under yellow. There's no green-white checkers in today's All-Star race. Looks like Matt Danson is raring to go and ready to lead them away. Did he learn anything from what Brock did last time? Is he going to try and throw him for a loop, mix it up, and try and catch him off guard? Or is Brock on his game today? Can he manage to snag a win in the All-Star race? I'm not sure that he's even got a win in the regular season here in the majors. Space car comes into the pit lane. Oh, he's way far ahead of him. He could be caught out. Oh, and once again, big wheel spin for the 83. He does collect it in time that he's not going to be jumped by those behind, and he's going to be able to pull it down low, but that was costly.
Door-to-door contact between Dallas Pataska and Kevin Hill. This is going to allow Pataska to get a good run on the bottom. Kevin Hill also with a good run.
And we got another
And
caution.
there's the caution.
Skurlock is
Mole is
involved in
in
this.
it.
Yep, Dean Mole and Skurlock.
Yep.
Oh, this was another
Two of our
mistake.
international drivers.
And more net code as well.
So, yeah, just far back and close racing. Unfortunately, nothing really done wrong by either driver. That Internet did not interpret their moves correctly. And we are getting an update. There are 2 green-white checkers that we're told there are supposed to be. We'll double check, make sure that that is correct. We'll get the notification pretty soon here. That, I said we had to get a caution pretty quickly, and a few hundred feet across the line is pretty quickly. So we'll see if we even need the green-white checkers, because if we get it restarted with 1 to go, that will mean it is a 1-lap shootout instead of 2. Did we lose anybody else from that? Because I'm seeing Wolf taking... Is that more repairs from Wolf? Dean Mole's in pit lane. That makes sense after his problems. Steve Driscoll, who's had a bit of a miserable day for someone who started it on the pole, is missing most of the front of his car, and he's taken multiple pit stops to try and get that damage repaired.
Yeah, one driver I've been keeping my eye on in the last couple of restarts is Johnny Nichols in that 4th position. He started off in 23rd, and he's all the way up to 4th now. And that's really hard to do around here at Charlotte because it's track position is so important. So Johnny Nichols just being able to stay out of trouble today and work his way up the field, he's in it with a shot to win today.
I'd say you've got a number of drivers up at the front who could win. If we get this 1-lap restart, there's going to be no cautions, and well, everybody's going to have to play very defensive to try and get to the finish, because it's basically every man for himself from there. So as we wait to find out, we do need lights off this time by if we are going to go back to green.
Another driver who's moved up quite a ways is Dallas Pataska. He started off in the 28th position, and he's all the way up to 6th place, so he's looking on with a chance at the win. All these drivers are going to have to be very aggressive if they get this restart.
As they come across the line, the lights stay on, and we are getting a green-white checkers confirmation from the stewards now. So we're going to 2-lap run. And if they do have 2 of them, that means that if they get the caution on this first lap, this means they will not, if they get the caution on the first lap, they will throw it, and they'll get 1 more try at it. But if they get to the second lap and there's a wreck, there will be no caution thrown, and it'll be only that 1 attempt.
If they do wreck on that second lap, though, they're going to have to race to the line back, the leaders.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. That could get a little bit messy, as it's essentially all bets are off.
Sure hope they got that catch fence repaired properly. It might have to be used again.
I think if I'm seeing correctly, we're down to 26 drivers. Is this correct?
Looks like about 27 because Steve Driscoll's still running. So quite a few drivers who are having moments here. But Nick, if you're Matt Danson here, well, sorry, if you're Matt Danson here, how do you take this restart in order to try and take the win?
Well, you got to focus on not spinning the tires, you know. I don't think timing is going to matter too much here. You could go a little bit early, you could go a little bit later. You know, he's got the lead. He's going to have the preferred line no matter what. The only thing that's going to stop him from that is spinning the tires, just like we saw Dawson Brock do on the outside. The inside line doesn't often do that, but if you're too ambitious, that's certainly going to be throw the 30 car off.
Lights are now out on the pace car. Matt Danson to the inside of Dawson Brock. We've had this before, and Dawson has been the biggest threat on these restarts to the number 30 car. Ride on board with European Region's driver. See a few more of those America's cars starting to sneak into that top 10. I see 4 on my screen alone already. Come down the back stretch. Lap attempt at seeing the checkered flag. We'll get one more try to green-white checkers. If they can't keep it clean, not sure how many drivers will be able to keep going if we get another big wreck there. There is quite a few who have certainly taken that free repair. Out of turn 4. As Danson spies that Mustang pace car heading down in. Waits patiently, and he gets on it pretty quickly. Ooh, this start looks way better for him than it did for Dawson Brock. In fact, his teammate Vrosky is already to his inside. They have been gapped by Danson by a huge margin before they even get to turn 1. Still side by side for much of the top of the field as they come onto the backstretch. Danson is well in clear. This is what he wants to see. Oh, a lot of blocking down at the bottom. The 336 trying to cover off the 41, but they keep it green as nobody goes off course. If they get the white flag, we are finishing under green here. White flag is out, and Danson, is leading by almost half a second. Vrosky trying everything he can to run him down. His teammate Dawson Brock behind. European Region is looking like a potential shoe-in here for the All-Star Team Championship. As they come around 3 and 4, the number 30 cannot be touched. He's dancing with himself. Matt Danson is your winner here today in the All-Star Oval race.
Dawson Brock's going to come across the line flipping behind him. I think he still managed to get third.
Yes, indeed, he did. Third place, Pataska with 4th, Nichols with a P5, Waring with 6. We'll get points pretty soon here on how the regional championship worked out here in their all-star race. But before we get to that, we're going to take a quick break, let the fireworks continue to go off as Matt Danson celebrates a spectacular win here at Charlotte. Don't go away because we've got more coming. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Race 2 of the Majors All-Star Race was a bit of a yellow fest in the second half, but gave us a lot of excitement on the one and only green-white checkers attempt that they did, with Matt Danson taking the win after starting on the front row. Trevor Vrosky showing that he can come from the back of the field and manage a good finish from 19th to 2nd for him. Dawson Brock, he was good at the restarts for a bit, and then that wheel spin just kept biting him again and again. Still, he got a third, spinning across the line. Vallis Pataska, 28th to 4th. Apparently a driver that really isn't that great at qualifying, but fantastic in a race. Johnny Nichols finished 5th today with Andrew Waring, finishing in P6. Kevin Hill with a 7th, and then David Baker takes P8. Jeff Schmeier goes to 9th in the end, and Daniel Stevens rounds out your top 10.
Pool D's Pool to Close comes in 11th place with Josh Coley in 12th. Cameron Danson, the number 1 car, coming home in 13th. Not a great race for him in the second part of this one. Harold Stadler, after starting off in the pits, comes home in 14th position ahead of Riley Thompson, who drops from 6th back to 15th. With Ty Keveth coming home in 16th position, Rob Gall in 17th, and the Salami Bob Beltrami comes home in 18th position, Nick Kuhn 19th, and David Hall in 20th.
Liam Quinn, Jonathan Bain, Wayne Taylor, John King, and Tom Drailing. They're going to be the last drivers to finish on the lead lap. Behind them, Wayne Hutchinson, Michael Skurlock, and Steve Driscoll all a lap down. Dean Moll, he was the first DNF back in 29th. 30th goes to Joshua Wolf. Mike Kelly, Ross Banfield, and Jake Fox will round out our 33-car field.
We've got our second place finisher in here with us, Trevor Vovrosky. Trevor, sure, you're happy about a second place considering how far back in the field that you finished. But on that last restart, are you kind of regretting you and your teammate couldn't get a better run on Danson?
Yeah, it was tough getting him on those restarts. It was a weird situation where the car is just in between starting in first gear and second gear. And since he was out there in the lead and he could time it right, he could leave in first gear. But if you're like Dawson tried it in first gear on the outside, and it was just, if you didn't know when you were going to go, there's a chance that you were going to spin the tires or miss a shift. So it was really tough on the restarts. So me being behind, being in second, you're just so bogged down.
I noticed that the Grizzly guys were up front quite a bit and really much in a pack. Were you all working together on this one?
Maybe Josh and Dawson were early on in the race, but I was nowhere near them at the start. 19th started the race, and they were up in like 3rd and 5th. So it was, those two might have been doing something trying to stick together on that longer run, but I was just trying to get whatever spot was in front of me. And towards the end there, it was just whoever can get Matt, try and get Matt.
I believe this is the first time we've included the Roval in the All-Star race here on the majors. How did you like that? Do you like the combination of the road to the oval so everybody kind of gets a shot at things?
I do like doing the kind of the dual all-star race format because I feel like that's what the majors is about. It's being a master of both disciplines. So I think doing two is a good way of doing it, and having them both take place at the same race is kind of neat. So yeah, it was fun.
A lot of fun to watch from our end too. Congratulations on a podium here in the All-Star. We're going to try and figure out the points here soon. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Just the rest of the Grizzly guys that were in the All-Star races. You know, Josh, Dawson, David. I doubt he got very much screen time during this, but David, just all working together. Hopefully, we'll have even more All-Stars next year. So.
Awesome stuff. That was Trevor Vovrosky, second place here today. Third place and backwards across the line, Adam has caught up with Dawson Brock.
Yeah, Dawson representing GSRC on the grid was one of our commentators. Dawson, you had a very exciting race, especially the past two restarts before that last one with a little bit of wheel spin up there. How tough was it to keep that car on the track right at the end?
So what's funny was I had been starting in second gear because I thought that was the best. But once we figured out leaders going in first gear, and he was getting amazing jumps. Later on, it was like, well, this is do or die. I need to go in first gear. The first restart I did, I got a really great restart. I think that was the third to last restart. I got a really good restart, and I thought I was going to have a move for the lead, but then the caution came out. And then the next two that I did, I just couldn't get it the same way I did in the past. So those restarts were really hard. I was spinning the tires those last two runs, and I think older tires definitely played a part in it.
Well, talk to me then about the finish there. It looks like you got a little bit tight coming through 3 and 4, got into the outside wall, and then talk me across the finish line.
Yeah, so just for a little bit, me and Trevor have been talking smack at the end because he's like, well, you should let me. I think I have a better chance at him. And I'm like, no way, dude. I'm not letting you pass me. So after that, I got behind him. It was, I need to go as hard as I can into turn 3 to get as close as I can to him. And well, the car pushed. I hit the wall. And he said that he let out of the gas just to take away a little bit of the arrow out of me. So I don't know if he was making that up or not, but hit the wall, came across, car was sliding back and forth. And then I just saw, I don't even know who it was. I think it was Andrew right beneath me, and I just turned in front of him, hoping he would push me across, which he did kindly. So it was quite a finish.
So this was a little bit of a preview of what we're going to see for that World 600. Are you looking forward to this round, or is it one that you're kind of dreading?
No, I'm looking forward to it because I think this was a fixed setup. I don't like fixed setup racing. We got an open setup. We've already started work on it. I'm really feeling confident about it, and I think the Grizzly guys are going to be very fast. So look for them. Well, not on your guys' broadcast, but yes, I'm looking forward to it definitely.
All right, Dawson, before we let you go, anyone you want to thank today?
Teammates, Grizzly, Torque Freak, all of their sponsors. They help us out all the time. They do a great job.
All right, thanks for talking to us, Dawson. We look forward to seeing you in the rounds to come.
Yep, thanks, guys.
That was Dawson Brock, our third place finisher. And it looks like we have Nick, who's going to be with Andrew Waring, who finished in 6th place today.
I am indeed Andrew Waring, coming home 6th place on the oval, but I'm sure the bigger victory for you tonight was your win earlier at the Roval.
Yeah, Roval went really good. Difficult starting like 14th or something like that, but the ovals, even though I'm an American racer, is not my strong suit at all. Kind of burned up the tires there, and then I got some damage that everybody was pretty much just driving by me at the end. So I got lucky with the cautions, or I would have fallen way further back.
Yeah, you qualified better for the oval. Did you feel more confident on the oval, of course, being in America, like you said? Or did you know you had a little bit of an advantage, maybe? Had some quicker pace on the road course?
I'm more of a road course guy myself. Like I much preferred to run the Roval over the oval, especially with Charlotte being such a fast and precise oval. Like I was braking at one point, and my team was screaming at me not to. So it's difficult for me to run the ovals. That's something I got to work on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we had a harsh transition between the handling, of course, and the speeds from the Roval to the race here, the 50 lapper on the oval. How was it making it through the pack? You finished 6th place, which right in the thick of things, they're coming to the end.
Yeah, I just tried to use the tires kind of fell off after 15 or 10 laps in the first stint there, which was a little longer. So I just tried to utilize, being really aggressive with the good tires as best as I could, and then kind of, park the bus for everyone else. And again, I just got really lucky with the way the cautions kind of unfolded at the end. The second stint of the race there, I probably would have finished 20th or worse.
Yeah, definitely crazy in the second half of that race. Before we let you go, congratulations on your great finishes. But anyone you want to give a thank you or a shout out to?
Yeah, I just want to thank the majors in general. I know Mike and all the committee, they work really hard behind the scenes, and my team UDocs. I feel like we really helped represent Americas, and everybody ran really clean, and it's something to be said about the whole series.
Absolutely. We love watching you race. Always puts on a great show.
Yeah, but thanks for broadcasting it, guys. I look forward to watching it later.
There's Andrew Waring. Joe, I believe you've caught up with our last interview tonight.
Yes, indeed. Our winner on the oval side and podium finisher on the Roval. If we had an individual championship, Matt, I'd say you may have won it tonight. Those are some incredible results. I've heard that you're pretty well known on the oval side down in the Aussie scene, but do you feel pretty comfortable turning right and left as well?
Yeah. I felt I should have done a bit better at Rover. Bit of a pinball for a while for some reason, but still, yeah, P3 was pretty good. I'm reasonably confident on both, but I'd say the oval is probably my strongest side.
On long lap pace for the oval race, it looked like you were pretty well established there, but you kept getting restart after restart after restart. Was that getting annoying, or was it making you worry at all about losing the lead to some of those Grizzly guys that were starting behind you?
Yeah, I mean, every restart that happened made me more nervous, just because anything can happen at that point. It's a lottery, and Dawson was doing really good. Sort of timing the restarts on the outside, which is super hard, and he did a really good job of sort of guessing when I'd go and preempting that. If it had stayed green, I was super confident because I was just cruising for that first run. And I got the lead, and I was like, okay, we got the lead. Let's just keep saving tires. So I was just underdriving massively and just trying to look out for guys like Dallas that I could see back in the field a little bit, just sort of judging off that. But with all the yellows, it was definitely making me pucker up a bit.
Now, obviously, you'll be racing this again, or at least I hope you'll be racing this again in a couple weeks' time when we go and do the World 600. Do you take anything out of this? Is there any lessons you feel like there are to be learned, or is nothing really translate for you?
No, it's always a learning experience. I mean, I should have done practice for the oval. I logged on about an hour before the Roval and just did a couple of laps there to acclimatise, and that was helpful. But I got to the oval, and I don't think I got through turn 3 and 4, well at all, all night. So it's certainly little by little I was sort of starting to learn a little bit because as many laps as I've done, it's the package changes and I forget things. So it's a good little refresher in advance of the 600, and hopefully I can come out and crush it and get another W.
I'd say that you had a good chance of that. Have a good chance of that if you come back and race that race. Before we let you go, anybody you want to thank for the win?
We'll thank so on the oval side, Horizon Racing Team. It's my team. Awesome guys. Vegan Food Melbourne at Matt Danson 30 for Facebook, Instagram, all that sort of jazz. Drip. It's the painting, iRacing paints. If anyone wants some really tasty paints, get a hold of them. Who else? Peter, Let's Save the Animals. And you guys for the broadcast and everything. Hopefully it'll be a good watch. And
Great stuff there from Matt Danson, our winner here over on the oval tonight. And for those wondering what the points are at the end, third place, sadly for Matt, International, 454 points. Second place, Americas, 494 points. European region wins it all, 539. So a lot to celebrate over there. They certainly proved a dominant force. That is a mighty fine gap that they pulled up with their results. We're going to say goodnight, at least for this broadcast, but we got more coming up. We'll talk about that in a second. Big thanks to the majors for bringing GSRC on for the coverage of this race and for also bringing forward the charity. Again, that is feedthechildren.org. If you want to check them out and see if you can donate yourself, we highly encourage everybody to do so, especially in these difficult times that we face. Thanks to iRacing for putting us on IESN for the All-Star Race, this special event that they're holding. Make sure and subscribe to the channel. Very easy to do so by clicking the subscribe button just below this video. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. And additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Sean, Adam, Nick, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Our social media is at Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook Global Sim Racing Channel, Instagram at GSRC_Graham. While you're here, make sure to check out our merchandise. We got a link in the description below for that. And the next race, as we mentioned, we're staying at Charlotte, and that is going to be the Cup Cars yet again. But this is going to be Sunday, April 26th, a little bit more than a week from now. 7:45 p.m. Eastern is when that kicks off, so a little bit later in the day. We have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so mark them down on your calendar. Up next, we've got the Bootleg Racing League coming back for some short track oval racing. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.